FactsVerse presents. Colorado mom adopted 2 children. Months later, she learned who they really were. Brenda Smith was only 32 years old, and she was tired of life already. Her marriage was over. She now faced the prospect of life as a divorced woman without a good job, no children, or the support of a loving and attentive husband. Still, she couldn't wallow in self-pity and regret forever. "I'm still young and attractive," she told herself. "I have a university degree, and I could get a good job and look after myself." So she decided that her best option was a new environment entirely. Yep, she would leave Tacoma, Washington with all its unpleasant memories and go elsewhere. She decided to move to Orlando, Florida. She wanted to put as much distance between herself and Washington as she could. Well, that was not her only reason for choosing Florida. She also had some good friends there, and she loved the climate. "Yes, sunny and lively Florida is what I need now to lift my spirits and give me a fresh start in life," she said. Well, Brenda moved to Florida in March of 2018. She stayed with her friend Tanisha West for about a month, and then she moved into her own apartment. She didn't want to be a burden on anybody. In any case, she had applied for a number of jobs already, and she was very optimistic that she would get a job in no time at all. In May of 2018, Brenda did get a job as an internal auditor with a reputable telecoms company. Her salary was actually quite good, and the company had a great welfare package. 6 months into the job, her appointment was confirmed, and she was promoted to Chief Internal Auditor. As internal auditor, she uncovered an attempt by some online hackers to defraud her employees. Her timely discovery saved the company millions of dollars. That's why she was promoted. As Chief Internal Auditor, she had a fat salary, wonderful bonuses, and an excellent welfare package. Brenda took out a mortgage and bought a house of her own. Life was looking really good for this young woman, and she'd recovered her self-esteem and zest for life. At this time, she wasn't thinking of getting entangled in yet another relationship with a man. However, she did join a church in her neighborhood, and she became more serious with her religion. She sang in the church choir, helped out at a local orphanage, and mentored young people in the church. With a good job and a comfortable home, Brenda decided she needed a family of her own now. She had struggled with fertility issues in the past, so she did not have much faith in those. She therefore decided to explore foster parenting, or maybe even adoption. She discussed the matter with a trusted friend who worked in the welfare department. This social worker, Frank Jeffers, explained that adoption was a complicated business for single people. However, he advised Brenda to start out as a foster parent before applying for adoption. 2 weeks later, Frank Jeffers called Brenda and informed her that a baby boy had just been abandoned at a public hospital. If she was interested, he could recommend her as a foster mother for the baby. Well, Brenda jumped at the opportunity and went to see the baby the next day. As soon as she saw this tiny infant, Brenda fell in love with him. True to his word, Frank Jeffers arranged all the paperwork and Brenda went home with the baby boy. Well, now her joy was complete. Brenda had a good job, a great home, and now a beautiful baby boy of her own. After 11 months of being a foster mother, Brenda applied for adoption. On the day the boy turned 1 year old, the court approved the adoption process. It was now official. Brenda Smith was the legal mother of this boy in the eyes of the law. She named him Michael after her favorite angel and showed him love. 2 years later, Frank Jeffers appeared at Brenda's home looking a bit worried. He told her another baby had been abandoned at the same hospital. She went to see the child the next day and fell in love with the little girl immediately when she saw her. Somehow she felt the baby girl might be related to her son Michael. She started the foster mother process immediately, and within 11 months, Brenda adopted the little girl as well. She named her Deborah and threw a party to welcome this adorable little girl to her small but happy family. By now, Brenda had bought a second house, but she couldn't live in 2 houses at the same time, so she rented out the first property and put the proceeds into a special account for her 2 children. By now, Michael was 5. Little Deborah was 2. The 2 kids looked very much alike, and Brenda was sure they just had to be blood-related somehow. So she hired a private detective to track down the biological mother of the 2 children. Well, it wasn't all that easy to track down their biological mother, but the detective, he was a whiz, and he somehow managed to track the woman down. As soon as Brenda saw the woman, she knew her suspicions were right. Both kids had this young woman's features. The woman was embarrassed at first, but Brenda's love and understanding disarmed her completely. She explained why she could not keep any of the kids and admitted that she was now 2 months pregnant. 7 months later, the woman gave birth to a bouncing baby boy. Brenda adopted that baby boy as well, with the blessings of its biological mother. She named her new son Emmanuel because she saw the hand of God in all the good things that had been happening to her. Brenda Smith is living in a dream world. She has a good job, an amazing home, and 3 wonderful children. She's also seeing a handsome young man now who she's planning to marry. Recently, she confided to her best friend, "Life is just so beautiful. If this is a dream, I do not want to wake up." And her friend agrees with her, 100%. And so do we. Are you adopted? Do you have that urge to find your biological parents, or do you just not care? Tell us in the comments below, and subscribe for more.